All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give our praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemi Awashai, double honor to your apostles and the elders of the great millstone, and to all the Akim across the globe, pushing the word in truth and sincerity. I want to say Shalom. This is Dianawa from the great millstone camp in Chicago with a quick little lesson. Lord willing, this is edifying. Sometimes, we all know that this battle that we're going through, this walk, being in the flesh, the chain of darkness, is a constant fight. All right? But we got to understand, who are we fighting? Are we fighting against the spirit? Are we fighting against the flesh? Because if you're fighting against the flesh, then you're in the spirit. If you're fighting against the spirit, then you're in the flesh. All right? So Lord willing, this lesson is edifying, and we'll get into it. This is Galatians 6:8. It says, I'm going to start at 7. Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Right? So whatever you sow is what you're going to reap. If you're sowing to the flesh, as a matter of fact, keep reading. For he that soweth to a flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the spirit shall of the spirit reap life everlasting. Okay? So if you're sowing to the flesh, if you're planting things to the flesh, your pleasures, well, you're gonna get corruption, man. Okay? If you plant poison ivy in your garden, you're gonna get poison ivy when it sprouts. But if you plant a fig tree in your garden, you're gonna get a fig tree when it sprouts. See? It said, he that soweth to a flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. Now corruption is death, man. But he that soweth to the spirit shall of the spirit reap life everlasting. All right? So we got to make sure that we are planting the right seeds, fighting the right fight. Okay? The Romans 6 and I'm gonna start at 12. Romans 6 and 12. Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body. Ye shall obey it in the lust thereof. All right? So we're in a body subject to sin. All right? We are born into death. We are born into sin. This whole earth life and wickedness. So we gotta fight the mortal body, because that mortal means death. Okay? So we get the word mortician, mortuary, mortgage. All those things are death. We don't want to let sin to reign in our deathly body, man, in this mortal body. That you should obey it in the lust of the flesh. So we gotta fight this flesh, man. You're not always gonna win, but you shouldn't always be losing either, man. Okay? Neither yield ye your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin, but yield yourselves unto the Most High, as those that are alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness unto the Most High. This is a spiritual battle. All right, we gotta use our time here for good, man. We don't want to always be in the flesh, being carnal, pleasing your. And this is hard to do. This is one of my hardest battles, man. Pleasing my flesh. My flesh wants to revert to the old ways. Not to have any care over the things that I do. But we got to yield ourselves unto the Most High, as those that are alive from the dead. And we're alive from the dead, man. Okay? And we're alive. All right, Yahweh Shai is not the father of the living or of the dead, but of the living, man. Hey, we were once dead in our sin and our trespasses, but the Lord called us to this light. All right, so we got to use our bodies as instruments of the righteousness of the Lord, doing the work, praying, fasting, reading, exhorting brothers. All right, for sin should not have dominion over you, for ye are not under the law, but under grace. Okay? And right now, it's the Lord's mercy that we're not being dealt with when we transgress, man. Okay? If we want to be fighting the spiritual warfare, the spiritual battle, we want to be fighting against his flesh so we can be more in the spirit. All right? It says, hey, this Romans chapter 6 is a very good chapter, by the way. Jake have time. It's fairly short, 23 verses. You should read it. I'm going to skip down. It said, for the wages of sin is death, verse 23. But for the wages of sin is death, but the gift of the Most High is eternal life through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, so, hey, our flesh doeth no good things. Now, let me get that real quick. Romans 7 and 18. Now I'm right in the same book, Salakia. Romans 7 and 18. It says, I'm going to start at 13. Well, then that which is good made death unto me. The Most High forbid. But sin that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good. That sin by the commandment might become exceeding sinful. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. Or the law is spiritual. All right? And we're carnal. All right? We're in this flesh. All right? So we are battling our spirit against our flesh. Okay? And this is a battle that we gotta win, Akim. All right? If you're fighting against the spirit, you're being in the flesh. You're fighting against the flesh, hey, you're in the spirit. He said, for that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I. A lot of times, man, we try to justify and rationalize our shortcomings. Hey, and rationalization is something. It's an illusion. It's you trying to trick yourself into thinking that what you're doing is okay. You know. So if then I do that which I would not, I consider to the law that it is good. Right, because when you're warring and you're battling the spirit, you're battling the flesh, and you see, there'll be times where something come to it. You remember, you start remembering the scriptures, you start thinking upon the Lord and meditating. Hey, that should be enough to cut you to not doing certain things, man. All right. Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. This is the point. For I know that the enemy that is in my flesh doeth no good thing. For to will is present with thee, how to perform that which is good I find not. Hey, it's hard. It's hard to fight this flesh, man. The flesh wants to be pleased, wants to be accommodated. Hey, but we gotta feed our spiritual things. We sow into our spirit of righteousness. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep reading. It says, Salakia, for the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. And we're going to lose, man. You gotta get your ass back up on the bike and continue riding to the crib. And when I say the crib, you gotta keep on riding to the kingdom, man. Keep on pedaling. For the good that I do not, but the evil which I would not that I do. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more, slacking. For the good which I do not, but the evil which I would not that I do. Now if I do that what I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present in me. For delight in the law of the Most High after the inward man. The inward man is spiritual, man. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin is in my members. So we're constantly battling this flesh. All right? The scripture talk about a good is set against evil. All things are set against each other, man. All right, so we want to be battling the flesh more than we're fighting the spirit. Because the spirit is going to tell you to read. It's going to tell you to fast. It's going to tell you to pray. It's going to tell you to go to class. It's going to tell you to go to line. The flesh is going to tell you, hey, please it. Put it on the back burner. Do it later. You got time. Don't worry about it. See, we got to remember that this is a spiritual battle. Okay? So, but I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of death? I thank Yahweh through Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, our Lord. So then with the mind I myself serve the law of the Most High, but with the flesh the law of sin, man. All right, so we're constantly battling, man. Our mind is constantly going back and forth between want to be spiritual and want to be carnal, man. So we gotta be careful how much we serving our flesh. In Romans 8:13, it says, start at 12. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors not to the flesh, to live after the flesh. For if we live after the flesh, ye shall die. Right? Is it that mortal members, right? So for if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. For as many as are led by the Spirit of the Most High are the sons of the Most High, man. So if we're being led by the Spirit, you're going to be called the son of the living power, man. Sound familiar? Sound like that John 1:12. Okay? We gotta be led by the Spirit and not by the flesh. Hey, if you're being led by the flesh, you're being led by Satan, man. You're being led by sin. Okay? So for ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, ye have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. Okay? Let me keep reading. And if children then heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Yahushua, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of the present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. It says, for the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the Son of the Most High. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same of hope. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of the Most High. All right? And so we got to suffer, man. Part of that suffering is not pleasing the flesh all the time, man. Okay? Part of the suffering is not doing what you want to. It's fighting against the flesh to sow into the spirit. Okay? We want to be delivered from the bondage of corruption, which is this flesh, Akim. All right? Matthew 26 and 41. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. All right, the spirit wants to do what's right. Why? Because it's come from the Lord. It's spiritual. All right, but the flesh is weak. The flesh wants to be pleased and pleasured, man. All right? So watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. All right? Are you going to be fighting against the spirit, or are you fighting against the flesh? If you're fighting against the spirit, then you're going along with the flesh. If you're fighting against the flesh, then you're in the spirit. With that, shalom.